There was once a currency you could eat, a form of money that grew on trees, that could be counterfeited, that emperors hoarded by the hundreds of thousands. It was worth more than gold, called the food of the gods, and a great ruler is said to have drunk 50 cups of it a day. This is the secret history of cacao, the seed that became money, medicine, and the chocolate you know today. Deep in the tropical forests of Central and South America grows a strange tree, Theobroma cacao. It produces large, colorful pods that grow directly out of its trunk and branches, like lanterns hanging from the wood. And inside each pod, wrapped in white pulp, sit the seeds that would change human history, cacao beans. But there is nothing sweet about a raw cacao bean. Bite into one fresh from the pod, and it is intensely bitter, harsh, almost unpleasant. The chocolate we love does not exist yet. To unlock it, the beans must be fermented, dried, roasted, and ground. A long transformation the ancient peoples of the Americas discovered thousands of years ago. The story of cacao begins astonishingly early. Traces of it have been found in ancient pottery in the Americas dating back over 3,000 years, and some evidence pushes its use back even further. Long before the Maya, before the Aztecs, people were already brewing this bitter seed. And from the very beginning, cacao was sacred. To the Maya and later the Aztecs, it was not simply a food. It was a divine gift, handed to humanity by the gods themselves. In their creation myths, the feathered serpent god gave cacao to the people, a treasure from the realm of the gods brought down to earth. Centuries later, this belief would be written permanently into science. When the great botanist Carl Linnaeus gave the cacao tree its official name, he chose Theobroma. It comes from Greek, and it means, quite literally, food of the gods. The ancient reverence was carved right into the tree's scientific name, where it remains to this day. The Maya drank cacao as a bitter, frothy beverage, pouring it from vessel to build a thick foam on top. They flavored it with chili, with maize, with spices. This was chocolate, but not as we know it, dark, bitter, spiced, and sacred, used in weddings, in rituals, and in the honoring of the gods. Then came the Aztecs, and they took the reverence for cacao even further. They called their drink zacatl, a word that may be the root of our own word chocolate, and they treated it as one of the most precious substances in their entire world. Here is the astonishing part. To the Aztecs, cacao beans were not just a drink. They were money, actual currency. In the great markets of the empire, you could buy food, goods, and services with cacao beans, counted out one by one. The seed of a tree served as the coins of a civilization. The records that survive are almost unbelievable in their detail. Historical price lists show exactly what things cost in beans. A single turkey hen might cost around 100 cacao beans. A turkey egg, just 3. A ripe avocado, a tomato, all had their price counted out in cacao. This was a functioning economy, running on chocolate. And where there is valuable money, there is counterfeiting. Archaeologists have found fake cacao beans, carefully shaped out of clay and passed off as the real thing. Think about that. The counterfeiters of the ancient Americas were not faking gold or silver. They were faking chocolate because chocolate was worth faking. Cacao was so valuable that the Aztec Empire demanded it as tribute. Conquered regions that could grow cacao were forced to send vast quantities of beans to the capital, hundreds of thousands of them, flowing into the imperial storehouses. An empire, in part, was funded by chocolate. At the very top of this world sat the emperor. And of the Aztec ruler Montezuma II, an incredible legend survives. It is said that he drank enormous amounts of zacatl every day. Some accounts claim as many as 50 cups, poured into golden goblets. He believed it gave him energy and vigor, and reserved great stores of beans for his warriors and his court. The Aztecs even believed the drink was too powerful, too intoxicating, for ordinary people. It was largely reserved for nobles, priests, warriors, and rulers. Cacao was not a casual treat. It was the drink of gods, kings, and soldiers, charged with power and meaning. Then, in the 16th century, two worlds collided. When the Spanish arrived and conquered the Aztec Empire, they encountered this strange, bitter, sacred drink for the first time. And their reaction was not immediate love. The conquistador Cortés and his men were unimpressed at first. One account describes the bitter drink dismissively, as something more suited to pigs than to men. To a European palate, unsweetened, spiced, bitter chocolate was a shock. This divine Aztec treasure did not match their tastes at all, but the Spanish soon transformed it. Back in Europe, they began adding sugar, honey, cinnamon, and vanilla to the bitter drink, sweetening away its harsh edge. And suddenly, chocolate became something Europe could adore. The sacred, bitter drink of the Aztecs became a sweet luxury of the Old World. For a long time, chocolate remained an expensive indulgence, sipped in the courts and salons of European nobility, a status symbol of wealth and refinement. It would take centuries and the machines of the industrial age before chocolate became solid, cheap, and available to everyone, the bar of chocolate we know today. But through this entire journey, from sacred Aztec ritual to modern candy bar, one question was always there, whispered by every culture that touched it. Why does chocolate feel so good? Why did ancient peoples treat it as divine, as energizing, even as medicine? Were they sensing something real, or was it only ritual and taste? For thousands of years, no one could say. The power of cacao was a mystery, wrapped in myth. But modern science has now analyzed the bean in detail, and it turns out the ancient reverence was pointing at something genuinely real inside the seed. The first key lies in a molecule called theobromine, and its name, fittingly, comes from the very same root as the tree, food of the gods. Theobromine is the main stimulant in chocolate, a cousin of caffeine, but with a gentler, smoother character. It stimulates without the sharp jolt and crash of coffee. Unlike caffeine, theobromine works slowly and mildly. It gently stimulates the heart, and it acts as a vasodilator, meaning it widens blood vessels and can help ease blood flow. This is part of why chocolate can produce a soft, warm sense of alertness and well-being, rather than a jittery rush. Dark chocolate and cocoa powder are especially rich in it. A bar of very dark chocolate can contain far more theobromine than a serving of milk chocolate. The Aztecs, drinking their pure, dark, unsweetened zacatl, were consuming this molecule in powerful concentration. Their sense that the drink energized them was not imagination. But theobromine is only the beginning. Cacao is also packed with compounds called flavanols, a family of powerful antioxidants. And here the modern science becomes genuinely striking, especially for the heart. Multiple clinical studies, pulled together in large analyses, have found that consuming cocoa or dark chocolate rich in flavanols can lead to measurable reductions in blood pressure. The flavanols help blood vessels relax and widen, improving the flow of blood through the body. A food once used as sacred medicine turns out to genuinely support the cardiovascular system. Researchers have found that these same cocoa flavanols may reduce markers of inflammation in the body and may even support the function of the heart and blood vessels in meaningful ways. The Aztecs used cacao to treat heart ailments and fatigue, and modern science suggests they were not entirely wrong. And then there is mood, the reason so many of us reach for chocolate. This, too, has real chemistry behind it. Cacao contains phenylethylamine, sometimes nicknamed the love chemical, a compound the brain naturally releases in moments of attraction and joy. It also contains tryptophan, a building block your body uses to make serotonin, a key mood molecule. In one controlled study, people who ate dark chocolate daily reported lower anxiety and greater emotional calm compared to a placebo group. The comfort you feel from a piece of good chocolate is not purely in your head. It rests, at least in part, on real molecules gently touching the chemistry of your brain. So we return to the ancient question. Were the Maya and the Aztecs right to treat this bitter seed as something close to divine? On the deepest claims, that cacao energizes the body, lifts the mood, and supports the heart, modern science offers a quiet, remarkable yes. They had no laboratories. They simply drank it and felt the truth. Think about the journey of this single seed. A bitter bean, wrapped in a pod on a tropical tree. worshipped as a gift of the gods, counted out as money and faked by counterfeiters, drunk by emperors from golden cups, dismissed by conquerors, then sweetened into a global obsession. And inside it, all along, real molecules that touch the heart and the mind. Today, cacao faces new struggles the ancient world never imagined. Much of the world's chocolate depends on small farmers in West Africa and South America, many working hard for little reward, while climate change threatens the delicate tree that started it all. The food of the gods now depends on how fairly and how sustainably we choose to grow it. The cacao tree still grows in the warm, humid shade of the tropics, its colorful pods hanging from the trunk exactly as they did when the Maya first brewed their sacred, bitter drink. From divine offering to counterfeit coins to the bar in your pocket, this one seed has traveled an astonishing road through human history. So the next time you unwrap a piece of chocolate, pause for just a moment before it melts away. You are holding the food of the gods. You are holding what was once money, medicine, and sacred ritual, all in one bitter seed. It was worshipped, hoarded, faked, and fought over. And now you know why.